the way this team plays, it'd have to be the right guy to come in and build the trust this late in the year. Like,
we'll start with this question from Robin.
So there's still a damn good defense. I have zero problem with them bringing this guy in.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We always appreciate it. Today, we're talking You Ask, We Answer, our segment presented by Stellar Roofing, Windows, and Siding. We want to thank them. So a little bit of the news of the day. We're recording this on Monday after the Bills win against the Dolphins. Keon Coleman, Sean McDermott said, is still being evaluated for his injury, while DeJuan Smoot has now been moved to IR, or is about to be moved to IR after injuring his wrist against Miami and will now require surgery.
Yeah.
First off, your initial reactions to that.
The Keon thing worries me as we're recording this, because follow-up, a lot of times these type of injuries becomes, does the player need surgery?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is full-on speculation, but that's usually what it's like. Like, is this something a player can play with? Is it something they will need to have some sort of procedure? How do they go from there? If it was really good news, I think we would know it already.
Yeah.
So the hope is that it's just something they can deal with and they get him back on the field as soon as possible. But it is a concern. The Smoot thing's big. I mean, surgery, that's a minimum of the 4 weeks. A lot of times in these circumstances, like, do we put him on IR or not? No, there's no question. He's having surgery.
Yeah.
That's probably 6+ weeks, I would think.
They did not say it was season ending.
They didn't say that, yes.
But also at the same point, yes, usually surgery requires a longer time for people to get back, which makes sense.
Casey Tuhill's been banged up.
Yeah.
Kyer Elam got hurt yesterday as the backup corner.
Yeah.
Good news, it appears, on the other guys. Like, it sounds like Amari Cooper was close. Benford was close. Sean said this week, we'll see how it plays out. I think he mentioned it was kind of like 50-50 on them playing.
Yes.
So if he said that, you would think there's a very good chance they could be back on the field in Indy.
Something that does concern me, though, is Terrell Bernard. Looking back at the video yesterday, he was definitely hurting. And in some moments, watching him run, I was like, that dude's gutting it out right now. So that's something that I kind of look at of like, obviously he played, which is great. He was healthy enough to be out there, but that sticks in the back of my mind of, he's obviously dealing with something, and how long, if ever, will he be able to really be back to the Terrell Bernard that we know?
It's when you think about their schedule, you've got the game at the Colts, home against the Chiefs, and then the bye week.
Yeah.
So it comes at a good time, that part of the season. It depends on where you are. I'm not saying that players sit out. I'm saying is you do have the bye week in this time, say when Smoot's going to be out. And who knows what happens with Keon. So you still have that part. But you mentioned it watching the video, and Dan mentioned it on the field, saying, that he just didn't look with the same burst. He still made some plays, obviously. Like you said, he's tough.
He's always going to make plays. But yeah, you're right. He definitely looked hampered by what we know and expect out of him. All right, so the trade deadline, is on Tuesday. And you can imagine we got a lot of questions talking about what the Bills should do. So we have Gerald Sorge, 6347, saying if Bean is seeking a trade, which area is his primary focus? There's other guys. One Mr. Steven, how bad is it looking? Do we need some pass rush right now? Trade deadline prospects. A lot of players, a lot of people asking just about M. Shane 327, trade deadline, which position group? What do you think? So who is what do you think McBean? But yeah, what do you think Sean McDermott and Brandon Bean's process is now heading in, knowing the deadline is on Tuesday and with some injuries, where this team is at?
I think it's on defense. I think it's on the defensive line. I think they're right. That's where they need to look. Pass rush would be great. Help in the D-line. Help setting the edge. A name that keeps coming up is Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
He's playing with the Dolphins, still playing well, is an absolute mountain of a man. 6'8", I think they list him at 300 and some pounds, has this deep voice. He's been NFL Walter Payton Man of the Year. Like, he's that dude. And
we interviewed him.
We did down at the Super Bowl in 2020 when he won Man of the Year. I just talked to Will Manso. That video was on talking about the Dolphins, and I asked him about Campbell, and he's like, "Oh no, he can play. Like this is not just come in to help the guys out. He can still play." Miami's going nowhere. I think they know it, even though they played pretty well on Sunday. Campbell's a free agent at the end of the year. He's an older player. And somebody was like, would they trade with the Bills? Yeah, give them the right pick. I mean, if you're Miami, we're talking about 5th round, 6th round picks.
They don't see him again.
Yeah,
like all
for
that
this
stuff.
year, and he's going to be gone at the end of the year, or likely gone at the end of the year. So that type of player, I don't know. I'm thinking the other place might be a veteran linebacker.
I mean, you can look at this roster though and say like D-line, like interior guy. Now with Smoot, what's that going to be? Do you need an edge person?
Yeah.
Then do you need linebacker, safety?
Yeah.
Or how do you feel comfortable about that? Or even wide receiver with Amari Cooper and with Keon. We talked about like would the Bills possibly be involved in something like that? So I feel like you can kind of look at it from a multitude of perspectives of like, I thought it's so funny how injuries and how things can change so rapidly. If you were to ask me going into this weekend, does Brandon Beane make a move at the deadline? I would say no. I think they're good at where they're at.
Right.
Now I'm kind of like, and maybe this is a knee-jerk reaction, but a part of me is like, I could see them going after whether it be an interior guy or someone else on the edge or something. I could kind of see the Bills trying to make a move for someone because I feel like now you're kind of at the point where this team is good. Like they have played above where I was expecting. And I think there's that ability to grow that much more if you get someone else that could be impactful. So we'll see.
It is funny when you talk about the different players and you saw what Rasul Douglas, a veteran, could do coming in, admitting, I didn't know the playbook. He had Jordan Poyer helping him last year with the playbook. He's a bright guy, knows how to play defense, and came in and helped them. I was thinking, we've mentioned safety before. The way this team plays, it'd have to be the right guy to come in and build the trust this late in the year, Micah Hyde. This late in the year. No, only because you really have to know Sean McDermott's system to play safety.
Safety in particular. And McDermott talked about, and this actually leads into another question. Kevin Weber, 9166, saying, why is Mike Edwards not starting? Hamlin is a liability in both the run and the pass. Why not give him a shot? It can't get worse. Which, Kevin, that's how you feel. But McDermott started his press conference, or early on his press conference, said yesterday, like, these players that are out there, you have to earn the right to be out on the field. And obviously it is a situation. I'm sure Mike Edwards is probably pretty frustrated, but the Bills coaching staff does not believe that he should be out there. And that is why he is not out there.
It is, when you think about what they've done, you know, you brought Mike Edwards in and he doesn't play, doesn't dress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan was so right.
Don't say that. Just pretend, guys that are watching, don't repeat that.
He was really right, though.
He was guessing.
I'm just like credit where credit's due. We're all about giving credit.
He takes enough of his own credit.
Do you think he'll listen to this? I don't know.
He might. He might.
Someone will tag him and be like, make sure you miss.
Listen, give the time. Mike Edwards was not a star player. Veteran, had a decent amount of starts in the league, played with won a Super Bowl with both Tom Brady and
that guy Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. Or he's pretty good.
But he doesn't play. Then they signed Curtis Samuel to more money, and he is a total non-factor. Now, I wonder in a different system. Curtis Samuel has played well in the NFL.
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't know how the deal would work, but I wonder if at any point they would look. It's a lot to say at the deadline deals are hard. The easiest deadline deal is conditional 6th round pick kind of deals.
Yeah.
There's not usually, unless it's somebody big, somebody, that was getting traded. So I don't know if there'll be anything with current players on the move, but you do have 2 free agencies signed. One plays. I mean, Curtis Samuel's on the roster and playing, but he doesn't do anything.
Joe Brady was asked on Monday today just about getting Samuel more involved. And he said he appreciated him being out there. He's, going through some injuries, but Joe Brady was saying it's on him to get him more involved in the offensive game plan.
He's saying, as Brady's saying, is it's on Brady.
That it's on Joe Brady. Yes, thank you for clarifying. But a part of me is like, yeah, but the plays that he has been targeted, it just hasn't really looked good or right, or like we talked about, there's a negative play.
Yeah, it's usually been bad. Something bad. He did have the one nice deep ball.
Yes.
One.
What was that, Tennessee?
No, it was, I think it was it not Houston?
No, because wasn't it a home game? This is
it was the Jets. It was the Jets.
It's the Jets?
It was the Jets.
Okay. So not
somebody's
a home game.
already
Somebody's like, how do you not know? It's funny. It all starts to blur.
Yeah.
It all not high.
No.
Okay. So also other questions. Jessica Alba, 83-35. Run defense is an embarrassment. Do they stand a chance against Derrick Henry? One defensive player isn't going to magically stop the run. Run defense was not great yesterday.
Not great.
That's an understatement. It was bad.
Some of it is style of play.
Yes, some of it is we're not going to let Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle torch us. No, I do give credit to the Dolphins because they do have weapons. I know their season was going in the wrong direction, but it was one of those things where pick your poison. And Tua had a good game. Like, they can torch you with their passing game, and they obviously have some good running backs as well. So I think for the Bills, they've done a really nice job for the most part of shutting down the passing game.
Right.
But that also opens up the ability for teams to run on them.
So there is teams that run the ball and control it to their strength. I mean, honestly, I have to say this. Kansas City does a good job with that. They can run the ball.
Yeah.
And they have the weapons, or certainly Mahomes himself, to pick their spots and be very comfortable playing that way. And Baltimore is a power running team. I mean, he just can run it down your throat. They're second place team still right now, which is funny because the Steelers are playing well. I wouldn't label the defense in that part as an embarrassment. That's what they give up. You do not see teams just lighten them up with the pass game. So you do give up something. I don't think they wanted to give up that much.
Yes, I think that's the perfect way to phrase it.
I heard a very wise guy say that Miami could come into this game, be smart, run the ball, keep it close. He picked 27-20. I was so hoping for a stop late in the game. I told you, and it jinxed me. 27-20.
Oh, so you're the wise guy?
Yes.
You are a wise guy.
I'm a wise guy, not a wise man. But
it's perfect.
But that's the way they played. And honestly, this week against the Colts, their offense was bad. Against Minnesota, very different setup. They're going to run Jonathan Taylor. They're going to run the ball on the Bills.
Can we talk about this game? This game kind of scares me a little bit. Hear me out. It's
the
team's 7-2. They're feeling good. Just had a emotional win at home over a divisional rival. 2 weeks from now, you have the Chiefs. 3 weeks from now, you have the bye. You're on the road in Indy. Jonathan Taylor has played very well against them before.
Yeah.
They're not a good team, and that kind of scares me.
But they're not a bad team. They're 4-5. Flacco, it was bad. Joe Flacco. It was bad against Minnesota, but
that camera's not working.
Minnesota.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Minnesota is a blitz happy.
Yeah,
that's the way they play. It's not the Bills, and it didn't work. And the people in Indy are a little ticked. I would expect Steichen to come back with a different plan. I don't think Joe Flacco fits with what Shane Steichen wants to do, but he's their guy. Who knows what they have big picture? If you're a Bills fan, all you care about is what they are on Sunday. And they do have talent. They have guys. Flacco did not look good. The offense did not look good. My guess is he's played a few games with them. They adjust.
Yeah.
But I would go run heavy if I was them early.
And they have a good D-line.
And pick some spots. So let's see.
Yeah.
Yes, there's reasons to be concerned about it. To your point, run defense needs to be better. But in the NFL, it's tough to stop everything. This is the way this team plays. They're light in the back. Not great.
Not great. It's been something that we've talked about for years too.
Yeah.
But they are smaller, lighter
setting the
guys.
edge. I did not think they did a good job of that. I thought non-Miller was ineffective.
Non-Miller, I like that. That's new.
I just came up with that.
Wise guy.
I was thinking, I heard somebody saying that Vaughn was a non-factor. And the way this mind works, non-Miller. He was non-Miller in that game. Made a run play later, but like, come on, nothing. And they weren't doing a good job on the outside. And, and they were able to get, Achane can move.
Yeah. But still, it felt like every first down they were running for 8.
They averaged, I didn't look at the final number. They were averaging more than 6 yards on first down. That included a couple really bad plays, the sack when he lost 7 yards. So that was pretty good for Miami, and it put them in a great spot, which mitigates the pass rush.
Yeah.
Because they're going 3rd and short all the time. So that needs to change. There's reasons to worry. There's reasons to worry about every game. But the Colts are a weird team. It would have probably been better to catch them the first week of Joe Flacco.
Oh, Joe.
As opposed to week 2.
I was like, November.
No, as opposed to
October.
As opposed to catching when they've played poorly, they reassess and they try to get
there. I hear you. All right. Speaking about the run game, Josh Martin, 1482. How much Ray Davis is the right amount of Ray Davis?
Well, Sunday was a good amount.
Do
we finally have thunder and lightning?
Yeah.
We've always talked about thunder and lightning. And I think
it's just cool to say.
Ray is a lot of thunder and a little bit of lightning.
Oh, well, I was going to say, he's steak and sizzle.
He really is. And you can say James Cook is too. I mean, James Cook has been a more physical runner this year than we've seen.
Yeah.
Catch the ball, James. That ball would have gone. That would have been a long gainer. That would have been big. Everybody was dropping the ball in that. Shakir dropped the ball.
I know.
It's going to go down as a drop. I think. The guy never drops the ball.
I know.
Even his incompletions usually are like the few targets that aren't catches. And Dalton Kincaid dropped one too on that drive.
Safe space, trust tree. I'm a little frustrated with Dalton Kincaid. We came in talking this season about taking a step forward, how the offense, he would be the focal point, all this stuff. And he's made some nice catches, but there are just moments in this game where I'm like, I need you to step up. And I feel like he has not consistently done that.
I agree with you, but I'm also going to say it's because Shakir has stepped up and Keon has been more than I think they would have counted on early. Like they've gotten a lot of plays out of Shakir.
Oh, I know. And that's why it's such a stark contrast, in my opinion, because you see who everyone thought would be the focal point.
Yeah.
And the guy that would be the safety blanket. And he has not been that.
I'm not forgiving him and saying, oh, that's fine. They expect him to be more. They drafted him to be more.
Yeah.
And he's been a good player.
I expected him to be great.
Yeah. Well, that hasn't been the case.
It's still, I mean, look, it's in his second year, all these things, but I guess putting the resources that they have put into him, I expected him to be a little bit more sure-handed, I guess.
So Dalton, Jenna Cottrell has put you on notice.
I don't hate him.
You have.
I think I've probably said 7 words to him.
It's just another man disappointing you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so funny. Also, quick segue. Just make sure to text back your loved ones. Text back your friends. If you have a second, you've had a busy day and you just need I forgot to text this person back. Make sure you go text them back. I'll tell you about it later.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Okay. So one last question. This one, a little bit of forecasting.
Okay.
Kevin Hurley, 3770. With the division effectively being won, what teams are you most concerned being matched up with in the wild card round? Let's just talk playoffs.
Well, the best case scenario is to not be in the wild card round.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's just talk playoffs.
But let's think, the matchups. I think ideally for this team, I don't think there's any question, as good as the Steelers have been and their record is really good, it's going to be a wild scene in the North Division with those teams.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens. But I think if you can get yourself in a spot, ideally, you want Baltimore and Kansas City to play each other.
Yes.
So
First
you
thing
only
that
get
came
one
to
of
mind.
them.
Yep.
Somehow.
Yep.
And right now, Kansas City is 5. I mean,
I was
Baltimore
say,
is 5.
Which is,
because
what is it? Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Texans.
Yes.
Baltimore.
Yeah. There's a lot to be played out. I think the Texans are going to win that division.
The Jets did a solid on Thursday night, though, getting the win.
Did. Yeah.
No, I don't love to see Aaron Rodgers
especially
win,
with the Bills winning. We kept that at bay.
Yeah,
I mean, this division is going to end maybe before December,
which is wild.
Because the Jets they got some tough games coming up.
Did you see they flexed the game out of primetime?
The Jets,
the Colts Jets game.
No,
it's a 1:00 start.
I believe that's on the Jets, not the Colts. It's probably not, but
well, we're gonna say that.
Yes, we're gonna say
that's
that.
Fine. Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would say do that. Look, Baltimore's physical. Lamar's playing really well. They added some help. Like that's a good team.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Now we're recording this on Monday. Chiefs are playing. Part of me wants to see the Chiefs come in undefeated.
I was saying this today.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that. Come in undefeated.
Now, if they're not, now you're playing for the 1 seed, or at least a shot at the 1 seed.
That's true.
Because if they were to say the Bills were to win next week,
their schedule is so.
I know the Bills still have. I mean, they got Detroit.
You got Detroit.
The Rams on the road.
The Rams are pesky. You got the Niners, which.
No, the Niners. McCaffrey back on the practice field.
Too. Yeah.
Oh no, the Bills have some tough games.
Hear me out. You see the Patriots twice in like 3 weeks. I don't.
All that is good, but
but like the Patriots, sometimes those divisional games can be weird,
and especially late in the year when they know who they are.
Yeah,
they already know. And I'm going to say this: Drake May's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad.
He is. Does
he have moxie? What are you going to say?
Who said? Did you say who were we talking about? Said he was. I would say he's not at Kirkland level, Josh Allen. He is at
great value
level. He's got the like you look and you go, oh, it's the same size. It'll fit in our kitchen, right? He's not him, but he can run. He's got a big arm.
Yeah.
And I think he's got something. I think he's got that the team wants to follow him.
I hear you.
Now they got a long way to go. Right now, it's funny. Right now, they have the number 1 pick. There's like 46 teams with 2 wins. They're all trying to be terrible, and it's not working. But if you're New England and you end up with May looking pretty good, and you can trade out of that pick, go ahead. I mean, that would help them. We'll worry about them later in the year, but because at that point of the year, you're just playing kind of free, and they're not terrible on defense. So we worry about all that at a later time.
Okay, last question. Eel 1378. Can you describe the vibe in the media room or on the field during a game? Things were tense in this game, especially in the first half. What kinds of things are you looking for and taking notes on during the game? It's a little inside baseball.
So if you want to talk about what it's normally like on the field, I will tell you that if you're saying it's like, I think he's referring to the press box.
Yeah.
Because that's where we are during the game.
Did I not say that? I think
he said media. I think it said media
room.
he
said media room.
Yeah, that's fine. It's in the press box, it's actually, we got a pretty nice setup there. It's big, got a lot of space.
They take care of us, for sure.
Just so you guys know, and Jenna confirmed it, I was kind of quiet during the game.
You really were. You took notes.
I took a lot of notes, and which we do. I think the idea, so people understand this, it's pretty collegial in there. There's a little talking, a little laughing. People watch the game. It's not just a joke to say there's no cheering in the press box. Nobody cheers for anything.
They literally say that. NFL guidelines say you can't cheer in the press box during a working press box.
Yeah, which nobody should be cheering.
No, absolutely. It's just, sometimes it is funny to me because I'm like, why do they have to say that every game?
I know. Well, they've been in the Jets press box where the Jets is minor league in everything. There isn't a podcast that goes by.
Stinks.
Yeah, there isn't a podcast that goes by where I don't take a shot at the Jets.
That's fair.
It is fun. But So in that room, it's like we're sitting here now and you're talking and you're following it. There's reaction like to a great play or a
Jenna,
bad
did you
call.
just see that? I'm staring at the game.
I know I might say that every once in a while. It's pretty good. People ask questions of each other like, "Hey, did you see who this was?" And but you're sitting there, you got your Wi-Fi, you got your monitors. I'm very comfortable. I have spent years of my life, if you added it up, in press boxes.
You probably have,
I mean, it's a
honestly.
lot of time
Yeah.
in there. Tell them what it's like
You
on the
forgot,
field.
though.
Oh, got the binoculars. Yeah. It's old man. I got the binoculars. At least I will tell. I can only tell this one quick story. So years ago, I'm in the press box, and there's a legendary sports anchor in Rochester, Rich Funky, great guy.
I literally thought you were going to say you.
No. And I'm sitting next to him, and he had binoculars. So I'm like, well, if Rich Funky has binoculars, I got to get binoculars. So I went home, got this pair of binoculars. I brought them in. Literally, it's like the two sides were like the size of this. And
like military grade.
And so I pulled them out during the game. I mean, this is 25 plus years ago. I pulled maybe 30. I pulled them out and I put them up. And he looks over next to me. He goes, "What are you going on a safari?" Which is a great line. And I was like, "Oh, this is what I had." I slowly put them in my bag and I went out that week and bought a new pair. Nice small binoculars.
Oh my God.
So I always think about it. So I joke about, I always bring, I say, it's the old man thing, you have your binoculars. But the reality is you're sitting pretty far away. And the kids, when they come up with me, they start going, "Hey, can I borrow the binoculars?"
I do like the binoculars.
Sometimes
sometimes in the far end zone, that end zone, away from the tunnel, it is far. Or you want to
see, is that guy off the bench? Is he still in the tent? Those things. Like you're just
who made that tackle? Who's down on the field?
And sometimes it is kind of fun to almost isolate on a player.
Yeah.
Like you can see it from a distance, but sometimes I'm like, I want to see how they're playing Keon. I just want to watch it. Yes, you can watch it later, and sometimes there's a replay. But
sometimes there's not as fast of replays as I would like.
Or sometimes they're on a delay.
Yeah.
And so you want to see the next thing happen in live, and then you look up and it's the case. Now, the other thing about the press box is, Jenna said the Jets is bad. Food's bad, the whole thing. Nice people that are working there.
Yeah, the people are kind. Food,
yeah. Bills is pretty good. I'd say the Bills is up there. Dallas is elite.
Yeah.
Crazy good. But for the most part, Philly was pretty good. Houston was good.
Yeah, Houston was good.
But the Bills they do a nice job.
Seattle was nice.
It's a big upgrade on what it was previous regimes. They do a nice job. But there's basically we get there in late morning and there's breakfast out there and then there's snacks. Jenna was killing the candy.
I ate way too much candy.
And then there's lunch. So it's not bad. You got coffee.
Yeah.
Soft drinks, I guess. Is there soda? Yeah. I think there's soda over there.
You're giving everyone a full menu.
Well, I'm saying it's pretty nice. It's a nice setup.
Yes.
Not
they have Pepsi products.
Yes. Not everywhere's that great. Now, on the field, it's very different.
On the field is very different. There's no food spread. There is no heat. No, on the field, it is interesting because I feel like I've been covering this team. I know probably Dan feels the same way, that I've been covering the team so long that I can kind of get a vibe by looking at, all right, what's the bench doing? What does Josh Allen look like? Like, what are his eyes doing? What is he, is he, sometimes I feel like earlier on in his career, when we would see like sugar high Josh, I would be able to look at him and be like, I can see the anxiousness and all this stuff. Really have not seen that this year. And I don't think it's, a coincidence that on the field, we've seen him be a lot more kind of a leader, level-headed, decision-making, that type of stuff. But what did I tell you in that Houston game? Flat.
Yeah.
Flat. The team looked flat. I was like, I don't know, guys. This team looks flat. And then obviously second half happens. They wake up. But I think it's surprising sometimes how even keel things are in big moments. I asked Dan actually yesterday. I was like, what was the vibe like? And he said it was pretty flat. And but sometimes flat is not bad, because sometimes if you're letting the moment affect you too much, you can force things, you can get antsy, and that is not always, usually is not beneficial.
I think they have to guard against getting too hyped up at home because the crowd's going to pick them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the road, you need it. And sometimes they feed off of making a big play. The team it's because there's not, no matter how well the Bills are represented on the road, it's not at home. Place is going crazy every time there's something good, and they will pick the team up, especially on defense and all that. But in terms of the work environment when you're shooting, so for years, there was maybe 5, 6 cameras on the field, a few still photographers, that was it. And now it's just progressed and progressed, but they only allow 5 local shooters.
Yeah.
And either Dan or Jenna is one of those. You guys somewhat move in a pack. You get to the same spot. Not all the time everybody's in one spot, but you hustle from spot to spot.
Yeah. So 2 things. One, I want to kind of go back just to like the bench and how that is. Like after a big play, seeing the guys get so excited and hyped up for one another, that's always really cool to see. Like that energy, and like you talked about, that is contagious. That can really pump up the team and lead to even more. And then like I wear a Fitbit, like a fitness tracker, and you can tell game days. Also, our camera is like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
So, those things are heavy, and you can't run through the bench. So you have to run around the bench. And it's a lot more crowded than you would ever expect. You have the Sky Cam going around, and then you have the Fox Cam. What is that called? Like the double decker cam that's on a.
Yeah, which is on the home side.
Yes, which a lot of fans I know get really upset at, which I totally understand.
Orchard Park has a limited,
there's one tunnel also. Like everything is just very compact.
Congested. Yeah.
And so it is pretty wild though, because from when I first started covering this team, where you would have, your little paper saying I have a media credential, now they literally scan your face so you can walk onto the field. I remember I was in Houston, Calvin Benjamin game, actually. I was not supposed to be in Houston, but our old coworker, Toby Motika, couldn't go to the game. So I picked up Toby Motika's press pass, and everyone thought my name was Toby. And I was walking around because it was so
casual.
It was so casual. It wasn't. It's changed tremendously.
I have a whole stack of press passes that were just it's like written on there.
Yeah.
You could just hand it to somebody. I used to spend a lot of the game down on the field with our photographer.
Which is so crazy.
And I brought my dad to games, my brothers. And now people ask me, I go, are you kidding me? It's all facial recognition. You can't go from spot to spot.
We can't even get on the field post game right now. Because our passes, if we step up, they will be denied.
Until all the players are off the field.
Yeah.
And then we can go out there.
Yeah.
By the way, so Jenna, you do enjoy the vibe of being on the field.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
But if I were to ask you, there's a choice, Jenna, for the rest of your career, you could either be on the field during the game or in the press box. What would your answer be?
Honestly, I don't think my body could take being on the field for like the rest of my life. It really, like, again, it is so cool, and I do not take it for granted. You get to see moments that even the cameras miss. Like, you are right in the action. Can't tell you how many times, like, getting a post-game shot of like Josh Allen, dapping up someone, and like literally being like hit in the back of the head with a camera because you're right there. It's so cool. It's also, you're exposed to all the elements.
Yeah.
You are, it's the press box. The one thing, I'm going to be honest, the one thing I don't like about the press box is it is so
sterile.
It's very sterile.
Yep.
And obviously it's a working press room and all those things. But when you're in it, like that Jacksonville game was incredible. The crowd, the game, just how excited and hyped the players were, like the air in the stadium, like that is, to me, our job is really cool.
Yeah.
And so there is moments where, though, my like genuinely, like my shoulder and my back really hurt because 30 pounds is, you can't like flip the side of the camera you're on. But that being said, it's
cool.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I love being down on the field. It's so funny now when we request our credentials. I always request, the best I can do now is pregame, postgame.
Yeah.
And when you're not shooting the game, we are allowed one person. So if Dan and Jenna and I are all there, Jenna, if we're all there, you're, say like Sunday, you were in the press box with me, we're restricted. It's just, I mean, there's so many restrictions. And to your point, Orchard Park is part of that reason. But even on the road, like I used to have some ways to kind of sneak my way down there.
Same.
You can't sneak anywhere anymore.
No, it's a lot more, which makes sense.
It's fine.
But it is sometimes you're like, oh man.
But it's cool. It's cool to be in the environment, the tunnel underneath where everybody's going, the players coming in and out.
That's also why I give the fans so much credit, because there's some weather, like where weather, you're like, oh my God, I'm at least running around. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, okay, I'm cold, but, or like if it's raining, I can be like, all right, I'm at least running. And sometimes I'm like, dang, commitment.
Yep. It's tough.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No,
I got another political text message. I'm ready for this to be over.
I got one that calls me John and asks me about Michigan. I'm not John, and I don't live in Michigan. And I already told you, but they just keep texting me back.
Okay. All right.
Well, if anything happens before the deadline, we will do an update. You know, it's Tuesday at 4:00.
Also, Wayland Brewing.
Yes.
We are doing a live recording of our podcast in Orchard Park. At Wayland Brewing. Very excited. It's coming up on November 13th.
So that is, as we're speaking, a week from Wednesday. So it's after the Colts game, before the Chiefs game.
Yes. At 7:00.
So we'll be there before that. We'd love to see you guys come. Give us some questions. We'll use them in the podcast.
Yeah.
We may have some little gifts to give out.
I'm really excited.
And it'll be fun. Like we're recording this as a video podcast like we do here. We've done it before. We've done it in Rochester. We want to do this more often.
Yeah.
But let people know. Come by, have a drink, hang out.
Yeah.
You
Enjoy
can
yourself.
listen the whole time. You'll be able to hear the podcast.
Boo Dan in person. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
You can't.
No. Don't do that.
But you can.
Also, we're going to be updating our store for Black Friday and the holiday season. So we have a lot of exciting things coming up, but just wanted to mention the Wayland Brewing, November 13th at 7:00. Please join us for a live recording of Buffalo Plus.
It's Orchard Park. It's 5 minutes, I think, from the stadium. It's very close.
Yes.
So you know, if you're in Buffalo, Southern Ontario, across the border, Rochester. Come on, you make the trip.
I think my sister's going to come out.
Nice.
She lives like 4 hours away, so
she's going to make the trip.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Stellar Roofing, Windows, and Siding for sponsoring this segment. For Mike Catalana, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We will catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. We'll see you next time, guys. We'll start with this question from Robin.
So there's still a damn good defense. I have zero problem with them bringing this guy in.